The festive season is over and it's back to reality for many. Heavy traffic volumes are expected as people make their way back from their holiday destinations. Motorists are urged to adhere to the rules of the road. Law enforcement authorities will be out and about monitoring compliance, while eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is following that story and joins us live now for an update. And Manqoba, I can see a lot of police activity in the background there where you are. Locate yourself for us and just tell us what is happening in relation to, the mass exodus of people from various points and destinations where they were over the holidays back to their places of residence.
Well, Tulasizwe, I can certainly tell you that it is one of those operations, safety operations that is taking place here on the N1 south towards the Buklui interchange. And of course, we're seeing quite a number of law enforcement officials out here on the streets here to ensure compliance amongst the motorists. Of course, you recall to us that in the lead to the festive season, we did see the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, launching that road safety campaign, and in fact giving a warning to some of the motorists that the regulations on the road will really be tight this time around to ensure that they minimize the number of deaths and the carnage on the country's roads. So I'm just going to step out of shot just to show you this particular operation that is taking place here on the N1. Of course, we are seeing a joint operation between the South African Police Services, the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, as well as the National Transport Department. And this is one of the operations, of course, that is taking place here in the province ahead of the schools reopening on Wednesday. It is a back-to-school campaign that is specifically looking at issues of safety for motorists. But more importantly, the emphasis here today will be on scholar transport to check compliance, of course, of drivers and whether or not they have the right documentations to be transporting children back to school. But also, some of the motorists that are here will be checked for whether they are, in a good condition to be on the roads. The cars are also being checked for roadworthiness, but importantly also whether or not they are drinking and driving. So those are some of the concerns. Of course, the issue of drinking and driving has been one of the huge concerns for officials over the festive season. It's one of the reasons why we're seeing many of the road accidents that are happening on the roads. But on top of that, the issue also of, just general compliance to road regulations, to road, safety measures. That, of course, has been one of the issues, with speeding also been a major concern. But I'm just going to speak now to the Deputy Minister of Transport, Sindisiwe Chikuma, of course, who's here, who's part of this roadblock to ensure compliance. Thank you very much for your time, Deputy Minister. Let's start here. Let's start about this particular roadblock, the enforcement that we're seeing here this morning. What is it all about?
This is an operation where we are acknowledging that people are going back to work. So it's back to work campaign. They are going back to school, and therefore it's back to school campaign. But also we're saying we're towards the end of what we regarded as festive season, high traffic volumes on the roads, and therefore it's back to normalcy campaign. But of course, we are still saying to our road users, our drivers, our passengers, our pedestrians, our motorists, our bikers, our everybody, we are saying to them, road safety is a 365 days project. And all of us, as road enforcers, law enforcers, as law enforcement agencies, and themselves as road users, they are expected, we are all expected to abide by the rules of the road, to adhere, to comply, so that we arrive alive at our destinations. It doesn't matter whether you are going closer or nearby or you're going far, but it's important that you arrive alive at your destination. It's not only about yourself. We are also talking about deepening that culture of human rights. People have right to life. It is in the Constitution. And if you hit me and you kill me, then I've lost that right. And we are therefore saying, good as you'll be driving your car, but remember, you're not driving alone. There are other people on the road that too have a right to be safe. And if you drink and you speed, you're putting that, you are actually undermining that right. You actually are saying this person can be killed by myself. And we're saying it shouldn't be like that. So we are here to check on vehicles, whether they are roadworthy, to check on drivers, whether they have valid driving licenses, of course excluding those that may be falling on the category that we spoke about earlier on, that people are not drunk, but also to say to them, if you want to relax, you can relax even amongst us here and then continue with your trip. It's safe because we are here, we are law enforcers, and that is what you are there. We are heightening that awareness campaign, that education, to say you don't have to do it right because there's a traffic officer, there's a South African police service. You have to do it right because you are a South African. You are a responsible citizen and you know what the rules of the roads are saying and you are going to comply. We are here to remind them that you keep left and you pass right.
Okay. Let me ask, Minister, of course there has been a concern around the cases of drinking and driving that we're seeing and drivers not generally adhering to those road regulations over the festive season. Are you, thinking that perhaps this time around you might see a spike in the number of people that have died on the roads?
When the minister announced the mid-festive season numbers, already we were not doing well. So it's possible. And remember last year, like I indicated during when I was actually talking to our traffic officers, last year we were at high levels of restrictions, COVID-19 restrictions. We know there were COVID level 1 this time around. And therefore there wasn't a lot of traffic last year. It's possible. We cannot even make that as an excuse because whether you consider those numbers or you consider the numbers, they're still high. If you talk about some countries such as Sweden, I'm making an example, such as Australia, when they talk about the year numbers of traffic accidents, they're talking about something like 280, 300 for the year. We're talking about 1,000 something from the 1st of January up until the 11th. I mean, from the 1st of December up until the 11th of December. That is too much. And these countries have probably the number of vehicles that we have in South Africa. Of course, there may be other factors, of course, but we're not doing that well. Whether you consider the levels and whatever, we're not doing that well. And we are here to remind our people to say we can do better. We will lead as government, but we need our citizens to join us. Because without them, then of course we're going to have many people dying.
Okay, thank you, Minister. Deputy Minister, I have to stop you there due to time. Well, of course, Tulas, it continues here. The traffic officials are still busy. You can see there in the background checking cars. The message, of course, is compliance for those who are out here on the roads. But not only that, they're also, passing that message to road users to be safe and to ensure that they do follow the rules of the road. So we're expecting to see, of course, this particular operation as well as many others in the lead up to the reopening of schools, and the emphasis will really be on ensuring that those vehicles that transport pupils back to schools will also be complying with road regulations.